This picture is going viral with Bria Hartley with the sinister grin, right? This malevolent look that's on her face right now. Clearly smiling after injuring Sophie Cunningham, man.
A shocking image is spreading across social media tonight. Bria Hartley caught smiling just moments after Sophie Cunningham went down with a painful leg injury. Was this an accident or a deliberate dirty hit? Fans, players, and analysts are outraged, calling for Hartley's suspension after what looks like one of the most reckless plays of the WNBA season. The Indiana Fever already reeling from injuries to Caitlin Clark and others. Now watch one of their toughest leaders, Sophie Cunningham, limp off the floor as her season hangs in the balance. The bigger question remains, why did referees let it slide? Tonight, we break down every angle, every reaction, and the explosive fallout shaking the WNBA. Stay tuned.
Sophie Cunningham, let's be clear here. Sophie Cunningham was targeted. Let's be very, very clear here. But Sophie Cunningham was flat out targeted by a dirty player.
The controversy began in the second quarter when Bria Hartley drove hard to the basket. As Sophie Cunningham slid across the contest, Hartley's momentum carried straight into her lower leg. The collision looked awkward, but the aftermath looked worse. Cunningham immediately clutched her knee, grimacing as she collapsed to the hardwood. Trainers rushed in as fans fell silent. What stunned viewers wasn't only the injury itself, but Hartley's reaction seconds later, a smirk broadcast live as Cunningham was helped to the locker room. To Fever fans, that smile wasn't just bad optics. It was confirmation of something darker. A player was hurt, a season was threatened, and the cameras caught it all.
Is the play that just occurred.
That's like she tries to slide over right there, and Hartley just kind of falls and makes collision with that lower leg. You see her immediately grab it. And she went down hard and was clearly in a lot of pain.
Instantly, the play became a flashpoint. Sophie Cunningham's sister and mother both voiced their anger online, accusing Hartley of recklessness and demanding accountability from referees who didn't even review the collision. Fans flooded social media, arguing the WNBA continues to fail in protecting its stars. The words were sharp, the tone emotional. Not only are we getting assaulted, but they're smiling about it. That line, from one furious Fever fan, echoed across platforms. To many, it wasn't just a bad foul. It symbolized a league letting dangerous behavior slide. Cunningham's absence only made things worse. Her leadership and toughness had been vital to Indiana's survival, and now she was sidelined, perhaps for the season.
Oh, and Cunningham is down. My goodness. Should be. Scary moment as we went to commercial. Sophie Cunningham hit the floor hard, and she is being helped off the floor, heading back to the locker room.
Caitlin Clark's comeback wasn't just about scoring points. It was about making a statement. Fans inside the arena described the atmosphere as electric the moment she stepped onto the floor. Every dribble, every pass, and every shot carried weight. Clark's ability to control the tempo of the game showed she hadn't lost a step, despite weeks of doubt surrounding her health. Her teammates immediately looked more confident, feeding off her energy. Even opponents admitted afterward that Clark's presence completely shifted the momentum. This wasn't just a player returning from injury. It was a superstar reminding everyone why she is the face of the league. The Caitlin Clark effect was in full force once again, leaving both critics and fans stunned.
Indiana Fever fans wake up pissed off today. Pissed off getting assaulted, but they're smiling about it. This is the 6th time they've smiled, laughed, and cheered on our Indiana Fever players getting assaulted, getting injured, and it pisses me off.
But it wasn't only the fans who were in awe. Clark's return sent shockwaves through the basketball world. Social media platforms lit up instantly, with her name trending across the globe. Former players, analysts, and even NBA stars took notice, praising her resilience and her ability to bounce back stronger. What's more surprising is how television ratings for the game skyrocketed, once again proving her unmatched impact on the league's popularity. Behind the scenes, WNBA executives were reportedly thrilled, calling it one of the biggest moments of the season. Clark didn't just come back. she reignited the league's momentum in a way no other player could. It's clear the WNBA is no longer the same without her in the spotlight.
Hartley deserves zero benefit of the doubt. And Sophie Cunningham's family not too happy.
The game itself showcased Clark's versatility. She wasn't just scoring, she was orchestrating the offense like a seasoned veteran. Her passing created opportunities for Kelsey Mitchell, Aaliyah Boston, and Sophie Cunningham, turning the Fever into a well-oiled machine. Defensively, she displayed more hustle than ever, diving for loose balls and communicating with her teammates. This wasn't a cautious return. It was an all-in performance that silenced any doubts about her conditioning. The Fever, once struggling to find consistency, looked like a playoff-caliber team with Clark leading the charge. The transformation was undeniable, and even rival coaches had to admit, Clark changes the game every single time she steps on the court. Fans outside the arena shared emotional reactions, many saying they traveled hours just to witness her return. Interviews captured supporters breaking down in tears, describing Clark as the player who saved women's basketball. Merchandise sales told the same story. Jerseys sold out online within minutes after the game. The Fever's official store even reported record-breaking numbers that surpassed entire monthly averages in just a single night. For many fans, Clark is more than a basketball player. She represents hope, change, and the future of women's sports. Her return wasn't simply a game highlight. It was a cultural moment that reinforced her role as the biggest star the league has ever seen. But while fans celebrated, not everyone was happy. Some WNBA veterans have reportedly grown frustrated with the overwhelming attention Clark receives. Anonymous sources suggested that jealousy still lingers in locker rooms across the league. Players who have been grinding for years feel overshadowed by Clark's rapid rise. However, supporters argue that the attention she brings benefits everyone, from higher salaries to increased sponsorships. Even NBA Commissioner Adam Silver has stated multiple times that Clark's influence has been transformative for the entire league. The tension between veterans and the new era of stars like Clark and Angel Reese continues to spark debates. But one thing is certain, Clark is too valuable to ignore. What makes Clark's comeback even more incredible is the timing. The Fever were slipping in the standings, and doubts about their playoff chances were growing. With Clark back, those doubts disappeared almost overnight. In her return game, she recorded a near triple-double, dazzling fans with her all-around performance. Her leadership on the court, combined with her fiery competitiveness, injected life into a struggling franchise. Teammates admitted after the game that her presence completely changes their confidence levels. For a team once criticized as inexperienced, Clark's return transformed them into legitimate contenders. The Indiana Fever are no longer just rebuilding. They're chasing something much bigger, and Clark is the driving force behind it. Broadcasters covering the game highlighted a key statistic. Attendance records keep breaking every time Clark plays. Arenas that used to struggle with half-empty seats are now completely sold out. Even road games against lower-market teams are turning into massive events whenever Clark is on the schedule. Opposing teams are seeing their ticket sales skyrocket simply because fans want to watch her in person. Economically, Clark has changed the entire WNBA landscape. Sponsorship deals, media rights, and merchandise revenue are all on the rise. Experts believe that without her, the league would still be struggling for mainstream relevance. Clark isn't just a star, she's a one-woman economic engine. During post-game interviews, Clark didn't make the moment about herself. Instead, she praised her teammates, thanking Aaliyah Boston and Kelsey Mitchell for stepping up during her absence. That humility is part of why fans adore her. Despite the immense pressure, she never comes off as arrogant. Instead, she shows gratitude and determination, always redirecting the spotlight to her team. Reporters noted how different this is compared to other rising stars who thrive on attention. Clark's ability to stay grounded while carrying the weight of an entire league is rare. Her leadership extends beyond the court. It's about character, humility, and inspiring the next generation of players who dream of following in her footsteps. Still, there are concerns. Doctors and analysts warn that rushing back too soon could risk brain injury. Groin injuries are notoriously tricky, and many athletes have struggled with lingering effects. Fans, while thrilled, are also worried about Clark's long-term health. Coaches insist they'll manage her minutes carefully, but given her competitive spirit, that's easier said than done. Even Clark admitted she hates sitting on the sidelines, calling it the hardest part of basketball. The Fever's playoff push may depend on how well her body holds up over the next few weeks. Everyone knows that without Clark, the Fever lose their identity. It's a high-stakes gamble that has the entire league watching closely. Media coverage has been relentless. Sports networks dedicated entire segments to Clark's comeback, while mainstream outlets that rarely cover women's basketball gave her top headlines. Even international outlets highlighted her return, showing her growing global influence. Basketball legends like Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird weighed in, praising her skill set and leadership. What's unique about Clark is that she bridges generations. Older fans respect her fundamentals, while younger audiences idolize her flash and competitiveness. She's not just a player, she's a cultural icon in the making. This comeback proved once again that Clark isn't just part of the WNBA story, she is the story. And now, all eyes are on what happens next. Behind the scenes, sponsors are doubling down. Nike, Gatorade, and other brands associated with Clark are pouring millions into campaigns centered around her image. Executives know she's a once-in-a-generation star who can elevate women's sports into mainstream conversations. Analysts predict that Clark could become the first WNBA player to surpass endorsement earnings of some NBA role players. This comeback only solidifies her value to corporate America, but it also raises questions about whether the league is too dependent on a single star. What happens if Clark faces another injury? Can the WNBA sustain momentum without her? Those concerns are real, but for now, Clark's return has ensured the spotlight remains brighter than ever. The night ended with a standing ovation, fans chanting her name long after the final buzzer. Clark waved, smiled, and thanked everyone before heading to the locker room. It wasn't just a basketball game, it was history in motion. This wasn't just about one player returning to the court, it was about a movement reigniting with full force. From the fans in the stands to the millions watching worldwide, Caitlin Clark proved why she is the heartbeat of women's basketball. Her comeback wasn't just sensational, it was a reminder that the WNBA has entered a new era, and at the center of it all stands one name, Caitlin Clark, the unstoppable force reshaping the game forever.